The distress signal arrived like a ripple through the silent void, faint, precise, and impossible to ignore. Across countless star systems, alien councils paused their endless debates, their crystal towers trembling under the low-frequency pulse that carried across subspace. No one recognized its signature. No archive matched its pattern. Yet the message was clear: someone, somewhere, was in need, and it had reached humanity. For centuries, the galaxy had catalogued humans as a minor species, interesting perhaps, but irrelevant to the grand architecture of interstellar politics. They were farmers, scavengers, thinkers hidden behind the veil of a single blue planet. Until now. The signal carried a subtle urgency. Not of aggression, but of desperation, threading through the darkness like a lifeline no species could ignore. In the council chambers of the most powerful coalition, voices fell silent. Screens flickered with readings beyond comprehension. Ships, poised in orbit like guardians, shifted instinctively, drawn to the invisible thread of the message. Scholars and strategists leaned forward, antennas twitching, optic sensors scanning, desperate for comprehension. It was not just a plea. It was a call that demanded a response, a signal that had been answered once before by instinct, by courage, by survival, and somewhere in the void, humanity heard. Across Earth's orbital docks, engineers and pilots stirred. Ancient fleets long dormant flickering to life. The hum of engines, quiet and steady, spread like a heartbeat through the colonies. For the first time in centuries, humans understood that their reach had expanded, that their ingenuity and resilience were not whispers in a small system but echoes capable of crossing light years. The first ships undocked, their hulls gleaming with reinforced alloys, engines glowing faintly blue as they slipped into the black. They carried not just weapons, but the weight of a species that had endured impossible odds, that had survived famine, war, and extinction attempts alike. Humanity's fleet was awakening, not with fear, not with pride, but with purpose. The alien councils watched, disbelief rippling across their assemblies. No one had expected them to respond. The humans were coming. And what approached was not a scouting vessel or a diplomat's envoy. It was a fleet. A predator fleet, precise, disciplined, and relentless, moving through the void with a grace that belied its deadly capacity. Every admiral, every strategist, every historian felt it. This was the first moment they understood that humans were no longer a minor footnote in galactic history. They were a reckoning, and the galaxy held its breath. The fleet moved through the void like a pulse of light against the darkness, every ship calibrated to perfection, engines humming in harmony. Each vessel carried the scars of human ingenuity, battle-worn hulls, reinforced plating, and systems tuned to survive threats that no alien armada had ever faced. They moved as one organism, a predator awakened from centuries of waiting, precise, controlled, unstoppable. The coalition fleets tried to respond, dispatching scouting frigates and patrol wings. They fired sensors, probes, even drones, but the humans anticipated each move before it could be made. Every detection attempt was met with interference patterns that warped space itself. Beams bent. Communications scrambled. Engines pulsed against fields no one had charted. The humans were not just arriving, they were rewriting the rules of engagement without a single shot fired. From the observation decks of alien capitals, analysts whispered in disbelief. One ship, one squadron, one fleet, how could such a species command the void with such authority? Their calculations failed. Their assumptions collapsed. The humans were a force of intellect, of instinct, of something older than the coalitions could measure, the certainty that survival demanded excellence, and excellence was non-negotiable. Then the human fleet revealed its true form. Capital ships, carriers, and fighter wings aligned in formations that mirrored natural predators, spearheads, arcs, spirals designed to envelop, to contain, to dominate. The alien observers felt a shiver pass through their collective awareness. This was not just a fleet. It was a declaration. Humanity had arrived, and they were the hunters now. Signals crackled across coalition networks. Officers attempted commands, but hesitation gripped them like a vice. Their weapons remained idle, their shields held in stasis. For the first time, centuries of technological superiority and political dominance meant nothing. Humanity's presence alone reshaped the battlefield. A single pulse of blue-white light rippled from the lead human ship. It was not a weapon. It was a signal, a heartbeat across the void. The coalition fleets froze, every system faltering. And then, the voice came through, calm, unwavering, and utterly alien in its authority. You are in range. Stand down, or witness the consequence of underestimating a species that does not yield. The fleets hesitated. Their pride demanded resistance. Their instincts screamed retreat. And in that pause, the humans advanced. Silent, inevitable, and unstoppable, the galaxy had glimpsed what it had long ignored. Humanity had arrived. And the Predator fleet had begun its hunt. The Predator fleet advanced with quiet inevitability, threading between alien vessels as if the void itself bent to their will. Sensors failed to track them fully, weapons scrambled, and drones vanished mid-flight into the folds of space warped by unseen energy fields. Every attempt to resist was anticipated. Every formation outflanked before it could form. Humanity moved not with brute force, but with precision, intelligence, and a calm certainty that unsettled even the most confident admirals. The alien councils watched as the lead human ship shifted slightly, just enough to display its scale and power. Its angular hull gleamed under distant starlight, engines pulsing in steady rhythm, shields layered in complex patterns no AI could decipher. No species they had catalogued could survive this. No fleet could meet it head-on. And yet, it did not fire. It did not strike. Its presence alone was command enough. A single human voice pulsed through every channel, steady and measured. You have measured. You have calculated. And yet you hesitate. Stand down, or understand the cost of underestimating humanity. In that moment, the alien fleets understood. This was not an attack. This was judgment. Not a display of rage, but of intent. Humanity's defiance was not reckless. It was deliberate, disciplined, and absolute. The fleets remained frozen, powerless before a single species that had risen beyond fear, beyond assumptions, beyond every expectation the galaxy had imposed. Humanity had arrived. And the lesson was already being written across the void. The Predator fleet moved like a living shadow through the void, each ship a predator in motion, engines humming with the confidence of inevitability. Alien fleets had tried to form ranks, to calculate advantage, to anticipate human tactics, but every effort failed before it began. The humans did not merely respond, they dictated the battlefield with subtle, terrifying mastery. Even from a distance, their coordination was flawless, movements fluid yet precise, a ballet of destruction they had not yet unleashed, but the mere promise of it was enough to unnerve every commander watching. Sensors across the coalition flickered under anomalous energy fields, data streams corrupting as if reality itself resisted being measured. Probes disappeared into distortions, drones spun helplessly in gravitational eddies, and weapon systems overloaded. Struggling to track vessels that moved with an understanding of physics no observer had ever achieved. The humans had rewritten the rules of engagement without firing a single shot. From distant command towers, alien admirals whispered of legends, of ancient intelligence that once roamed the stars but was thought extinct. They speculated, debated, and calculated. They spoke of humans as if speaking aloud could conjure an explanation, but none of their knowledge sufficed. One vessel alone displayed capabilities beyond comprehension. And if one could move like this, what awaited if the entire Predator fleet engaged fully? The human ships began subtle maneuvers that seemed ceremonial. Almost nonchalant, yet every action conveyed command over space itself. Fighters and frigates aligned in sweeping arcs, carriers held in protective spirals, every formation optimized to dominate while conserving energy, as though the fleet existed simultaneously for offense and observation. It was strategy written in motion, discipline carved into steel, and alien observers could only stare, helpless and awestruck. the lead warship, larger than most cruisers, slowed slightly, engines casting gentle blue light across the darkened void. Its shields glimmered in layered translucence, bending starlight into fractals that shifted with imperceptible intelligence. Then, from across space, the human voice resonated through subspace channels. Calm, deliberate, yet heavy with authority, you have seen us. You have measured our fleet. And you have understood one simple truth: underestimating humanity is a choice you will not survive. Step back from the border. Stand down. Accept the lesson before it is enforced. The words carried not a threat, but a certainty. It was the voice of a species that had survived extinction, famine, war, and every trial imposed by a galaxy that sought to ignore it. There was no arrogance, no vanity, only the assurance that humanity had risen to meet the impossible and would not yield. The coalition fleets wavered, unsure whether to obey or resist. Every captain felt the invisible weight of human resolve pressing against their pride. Their systems, their weapons, their meticulously calculated formations, none of it mattered in the presence of such unwavering purpose. Some ships attempted feints, to test reaction, to measure intent, but the humans anticipated each micro-adjustment, leaving no opening. As the fleet advanced further, moving past key orbital positions, the aliens glimpsed a subtle truth: humanity's power was not in the fleet itself, but in the mastery behind it. Intelligence, discipline, resilience, qualities the coalition had long underestimated. The humans did not rush. They did not fire indiscriminately. They communicated. Controlled and enforced dominance with a restraint that magnified their threat. From command bridges across the coalition, reports came in, sensors unable to track trajectory, drones destroyed without contact, weapon systems rendered inoperative, communications looping with static. Panic rippled through the ranks. Some whispered of mythic tales, of civilizations that had vanished without a trace, wondering if humanity had ascended to a level thought impossible. Others fell silent, staring into the void as the Predator fleet moved like shadows along the nebula's edge, every ship a testament to a species the galaxy had failed to understand until now. And in that silence, in that suspended moment, the aliens comprehended the unthinkable. Humanity had come not to beg, not to bargain, not to negotiate. Humanity had come to answer a call, and in doing so, had reminded the galaxy what it had long forgotten: survival demanded more than strength. It demanded will. The Predator fleet continued its approach, a quiet, unstoppable force threading the void with deliberate purpose. Every observer, every strategist, every leader knew the same truth. Humanity had arrived. And the galaxy would never be the same. The human Predator fleet advanced steadily, each vessel radiating an aura of controlled power that the alien fleets could not comprehend. The void itself seemed to bend around the human ships. Subtle distortions in gravity and light warping the perception of every observer. Every formation moved with a precision that bordered on artistry, fighters carving elegant arcs around capital ships, frigates shielding carriers in spiraling patterns that spoke of centuries of warfare honed to perfection. It was a display not of brute force, but of intelligence, discipline, and a mastery of the void that no alien fleet had anticipated. Command towers across coalition space trembled with tension. Officers whispered of impossibility, scanning and recalculating endlessly. Every drone sent forward vanished into the shifting distortions surrounding the fleet, as if reality itself rejected observation. Communications overloaded with static, sensors returned fragmented data, and targeting systems failed to lock on. One human vessel alone had rendered an entire sector's defenses uncertain, and yet the fleet pressed forward, silent, inevitable, precise. The lead human ship, larger and older than most cruisers, bore the marks of countless encounters. Hull plating scarred and reinforced, engines humming with restrained fury, shields layered in complexity no known AI could replicate. Its presence dominated the sector like a silent predator, commanding attention without firing a single shot. The aliens' most advanced scanners registered anomalies in energy flow, propulsion, even in the faint gravitational fields the vessel produced. There was no precedent, no known physics capable of explaining its motion. A pulse of light radiated from the lead ship, spreading outward in a pattern that disabled nearby drones and temporarily scrambled targeting systems. The fleet did not fire, it did not need to. Its very existence had already rewritten the balance of power. And then the voice came, calm, authoritative, unyielding, "You have watched. You have calculated. And yet you hesitate. Humanity does not act recklessly, nor does it yield to threats. Stand down. Respect the boundaries of survival. Fail, and the consequences will be absolute." The words carried no malice. They carried certainty. They carried the quiet weight of a species that had endured near extinction. That had survived famine, war, and cosmic calamities alike. The aliens felt it deep within their instincts. This was not negotiation. This was judgment. And it was delivered without anger, without boast, without haste. Some fleets attempted to reposition, to test the limits of human restraint, but every movement was anticipated. The humans flowed around obstacles with ease, neutralizing openings before they appeared, enforcing a dominance not with destruction, but with absolute control of space itself. Every patrol, every cruiser, every frigate that tried to challenge the fleet found itself unable to act, unable to calculate, unable to resist. The lead human ship slowed just enough to display its immense size and flawless control. Its angular hull reflected distant stars like shards of silver glass, engines glowing softly blue, shields bending light in impossible patterns. Observers realized that humanity had arrived not to conquer, but to teach the galaxy a lesson long ignored, that intellect, will, and discipline could dominate force, that restraint carried the weight of inevitability. Across command decks, alien officers stared, frozen by awe, disbelief, and fear. The Predator fleet continued to advance, threading between orbital defenses with subtle, silent authority. Every observer understood the unthinkable: humanity was not a minor species. Humanity was a reckoning, a force of nature wrapped in steel, light, and unyielding purpose, and in that moment, the galaxy comprehended the truth it had ignored for centuries. Humanity had answered a call. Humanity had arrived with a fleet. And the universe would never underestimate them again. The Predator fleet reached the edge of the alien coalition's central space, engines glowing softly, casting pale blue light across the frozen armada. Every vessel, every captain, every system felt the weight of human presence. The warships did not fire, did not threaten, yet every observer understood the unspoken message: humanity's authority in the void was absolute. Resistance was no longer measured by weapons, but by will, and human will had no equal. The lead ship moved slowly, deliberately, as though inspecting the fleets it had rendered powerless. Its angular hull reflected nebula clouds, distant stars, and the anxious faces of alien admirals. Tiny fighter wings drifted in precise formation, carriers held protective spirals, and the entire fleet projected control that the coalition could not challenge. It was discipline made manifest, a Predator at rest yet ready to strike with perfect timing. From the lead ship, a pulse of light expanded outward, a subtle, silent assertion of dominance. Shields, weapons, and engines across the coalition flickered under its influence. Drones vanished in bursts of warped energy. Sensors screamed in failure. And through it all, the human voice returned, calm and deliberate: "You have seen the fleet. You have felt our presence. Understand this: humanity does not seek conquest, but we do not yield. We remember, we endure, and we respond when tested. Stand down, respect survival, and you will live. Challenge us, and the void itself will teach you restraint." The words resonated across subspace channels, reaching every listening post, every distant command deck. Officers froze, captains hesitated, and fleets drifted in disbelief. Every calculation they had relied upon crumbled. Their pride, their strategy, their history, all insignificant in the face of deliberate, intelligent, and unyielding resolve. Then the fleet began to withdraw, engines pulsing rhythmically as it moved back toward human space, leaving the coalition armada intact but shaken. No victory had been won, no weapons had fired, yet a message had been delivered far more powerfully than any battle could achieve: humanity was not a minor species. Humanity was a reckoning, a force to be respected, feared, and never underestimated. As the Predator fleet vanished into the black expanse, the aliens remained in stunned silence. They had glimpsed a truth that would haunt the galaxy for centuries: humanity commanded not through aggression, but through intelligence, discipline, and the unshakable certainty of survival.